Punch dynamics. This video is essential for punching because it just kind of covers some of the fundamental concepts that you have to keep in mind anytime you're throwing a punch in order to not break your hand, amongst other things. Any punch, really, you want to strike with your middle knuckle. Number one, it's the biggest, it's the thickest bone, and it's the most in line with the radius and the other bones in your forearm. Boxer's fracture is the common name for when you strike with your pinky and ring finger knuckle because those knuckles break easily. They're very easily broken, so you don't want to strike with those. Your pointer finger knuckle is pretty strong, so if you had to make an error on either side, I would say that one's a pretty good one to throw. But for the most part, 90% of your impact should be taking place with the middle knuckle. That's how you remain the safest, and that's how you can keep your hand for the duration of a fight. Trust me, nothing is worse than when you try to rip a punch at somebody and you catch an elbow or you catch a forehead, and if you happen to hit with the wrong knuckle, your hand is done, and you're gonna have to figure out a very creative strategy to win a fight one-handed, probably utilizing some roundhouses and knees and such. Next, twisting your hand. Do you twist? Do you turn your punch over? What's the deal here? A lot of boxing coaches talk about the fact that twisting cuts somebody because you end up turning their skin. That's absolute bullshit. Cuts don't occur by virtue of a twisting force with your hand. The reason why people twist is primarily for reducing instances of what I call elbow lockout. So wherever you are right now, I want you to put your thumb up, I want you to hold your arm steady, and I want you to flick your arm out. Now clearly you can feel kind of a little discomfort on your elbow there because you're locking out the joint. It's almost like you're almost hyperextending your joint, you're stressing the ligaments in your elbow. Now, I want you to do the same exact thing, except I want you to end with your thumb facing down, okay? So you snap your hand out, you snap your hand down, and now I can snap my hand out ridiculously hard, and I don't feel it in my elbow anymore. Just because I've turned my joint the opposite way, I'm no longer stressing my ligaments. So that reduces elbow injuries in boxing that typically happen when you miss a punch. And the bottom line is you ain't gonna hit every punch you throw. So sometimes you think you're gonna blast this dude with a right cross and you're like, "Lah!" and you throw a punch out there and you're like, oh shit, my elbow. In those circumstances, you didn't turn your hand over correctly and now you've screwed up your elbow a little bit. It's not really screwing up your elbow, you're not gonna break your elbow. It's almost like a very mild sprain, but it will cause inflammation and swelling in your joint and it can affect your power for the remainder of the fight. If this happens to you, ice it. You're gonna have some inflamed tissue in your elbow. All right, now that you have this general straight punch knowledge, make sure you add it to your jabs and your crosses and perhaps every other punch you throw for the rest of your life.